Hello everyone and welcome to today's video where today we have the Marvel Legends Gamerverse Wave Venom from Spider-Man 2, the PS5 game. And yeah, I'm very excited for this guy. Yeah, I haven't messed with him at all. I haven't opened him. You see the artwork on the side, you see the artwork on the back and the read up. And I feel like I don't really need to read this because everyone knows Venom, so even this version of Venom is pretty straightforward. But yeah, I haven't really been playing with my figures that I got recently because this weekend has been a bit of a family weekend, hanging out with family a little bit more. My cousin came down and stuff, so you see that insert in the back looks pretty nice. So just figured to show that off. And we'll get this guy out of package, and we'll take a look at him. I'll be right back. Okay, and we got him out of frame. Well, we got him out of package. As far into frame as I can possibly get him. Because this guy's very big. He's a very big figure, and he's pretty cool. Now, first things first, the price for this guy. The maximum Hulk is, what, 60, 70 bucks? I got this guy for $67 on Big Bad Toy Store, and I think he was closer to the 60 mark. But a lot of the times when figures go up on the secondary market, Big Bad Toy Store will also shoot the prices up a little bit. Not quite as much normally as the secondary market gets, but they'll still shoot those prices up. And this guy has gone up a little bit on the secondary market. So if you really are interested in this guy, and if you liked the PS4, PS5 games at all, probably pick this guy up while you can. He's very nice looking, and yeah, I mean, I have a lot of problems with the second game. Well, it's technically the third game, but the number is second, so I'm gonna call it the second game. I have a lot of problems with that game, but the aesthetic of Venom is certainly not one of those problems. There are a lot of problems with that game, but like I've said before, if that second game had the story of the first game and the gameplay of the second game, I think it would be an almost perfect game. There are problems with the first one, story and stuff, but it's a much better overall game than the second one, in my opinion. And we're not really here to critique the second game, but I will just say I hope that they take a new direction and they sink some more time into the third game and the Wolverine game that they have coming up. But yeah, I do have the whole wave pre-ordered for this. I can't wait to get them all, especially the Black Cat. She's my favorite character, and that's one of my favorite versions of her, if not my favorite version of her. I really like that version of Felicia, and yeah, I do like the games overall. I'm actually doing a replay of the second game right now-ish. It's hard to get back into for me because I really don't like the game as much as I wish I did. For context, the first game I had sunk over 200 hours into, I believe. And then the Miles Morales spin-off game I sunk, I think, similarly amount of time into. Maybe, like, you know, a few gameplays less because the first one's been out longer. But for the third game, I just don't see myself sinking that much time into. The gameplay's fun. The customization for the suits is pretty fun for me. But the story just, it's not fun. There's not enough in-game content for me to keep coming back to it, and I also do not like the way that they rushed the symbiote storyline, and I definitely don't like the way they characterized a lot of the characters. So, besides that, let's get into the figure, and we'll look at this guy. Now, this guy is, he's pretty big. I mean, for context, this is the Marvel Select, a 7-inch scale figure line, and Marvel Legends is not true 1/12 scale, but they're 6.5-inch scale, I'd say. And this guy is the Titanium Man from Marvel Select that I just reviewed 2 days ago or so. And this guy's bigger than that. For context, this was the biggest figure I had up until I opened this one. Now this is the biggest figure I have. Yeah, and this is probably one of the biggest 1/12 scale figures in general. Until this guy came along. This guy's huge, so very exciting. And this is the Marvel Select Venom, for context. And You know, this one's a little bit more first appearance based. It's not the first appearance Venom. It's the like, what was it, like the Ultimate Venom, something like that. It was the version of Venom where I think he had like multiple personalities in his head and stuff. Like he was like kind of schizophrenic, and then he had like all the extra heads growing off of him in the arms and stuff. But I just use this as this, 616 regular Venom. Sorry, my cat is crying. Give me 1 second. She just wants attention. I'm sorry. That's a pretty common occurrence around here. So, yeah. This is still a great figure, and this will still be on my Midnight Suns display. This guy will probably go into the villains display, because this version of Venom is definitely a villain, and I think he'll work pretty well on that display. But yeah, so he's definitely big, and he looks nice. I mean, you look at this, and he looks great. That head really reminds me of that new character, Wreck Rap, which is like he's like a clone. So that head is definitely looks a lot like him. But yeah, this guy's really cool. He's got great detailing on him. I mean, the spider symbol is just awesome on this guy. It carries over on the butterfly joints too, so that's nice. At least on the back. Well, it's not on the front, so. And yeah, this guy, he's so cool. For $70 though, I do think he could have come with a little bit more, and I think once we get to those accessories, you'll see what I mean. But the aesthetic is certainly not a problem. He looks oily and gooey like he looks in a lot of appearances of Venom. He looks like a living creature, and this looks awesome. The only problem with the aesthetic of the game I've had is Venom has the triangles, or not the I mean, you could do triangles, but he has like the rectangles on the back of the hands, like this one has. And this guy doesn't have that, and that does, I will say that does kind of harsh my opinion of this character's design, but not too much. It's just, I just love those. I mean, I think it adds an extra bit of pop of white to the figure and to the design that I think this still, it really needs. So, besides that, he looks great, and you could definitely use this as a Venom. So, yeah, we'll get into the articulation, because I think that's probably the most important part for a lot of people, and then we will look at accessories. So for articulation, I'm gonna have to hold it like sideways so you can see. For the head, it's actually on a dumbbell joint up in there, so you're not gonna get a lot of movement out of it, sadly, because this version of Venom does not really have a neck. He's very hunched, his head's very sunk in, so you can get about that much looking up and about that much looking down, which this is a version of Venom that you want to be looking down. And another thing I will say about this is the performance for Venom himself. Maybe not Harry. Harry, that version of Harry's not really a character. I mean, this version of Venom's not too much of a character either, but Tony Todd gave a phenomenal, voice acting performance, and he will be sorely missed. So, rest in peace to Tony Todd. He's a horror legend, and he did a great job as Venom. But yeah, this was a great role still, even if the game's not my favorite. I will say that. And then you get some pretty good tiltage out of there, and then obviously you can look all the way around. And then for the arms go all the way up to there, so that's nice. Spin around, obviously. He does have a butterfly joint. Can go not too far forward. Can go a little bit back. I don't know if it's a big enough butterfly joint for that to make a difference, for it to matter. Honestly, I mean, it's not that great of a butterfly joint, but it will give you just a little bit of minor posing, so, it's not horrible. And I will say, I can see the seam lines, so that's a little ugly between the back parts right there. It does have that, so if that's a problem for you, that is gonna be a problem that appears. So he also has an upper bicep swivel, obviously, and then he has a double jointed pinless elbow, and the elbows are pretty ugly on this guy, but I'm not the type of person that's gonna freak out about that, because I know it's an action figure. I'm not expecting this to be Hot Toys. It's not a Hot Toys figure. I pay for my action figures to pose, not to just look like statues. And then you have the hinge on the hands. Now, the most important and the most I'm really curious about is the torso articulation. So we're going to look at that. You've got a ball joint up at the top, so you can crunch down to there with just the ball joint. Crunch back really far, and then you got the twist, your tilt. You got all the good stuff up there. Sorry, I had to pause the recording because I had to sneeze. And then you got the hinge. So for the hinge, I've seen a lot of people saying it doesn't get a lot of, movement, and that's true. Without the ball joint up at the top, you're not really getting a lot. Front, at least. Back, you might get more. You get some out of back. I do wish it was reversed. I'd prefer to have him be able to crunch down. I mean, Venom is a very crunchy character. But I don't think this is, terrible articulation. So, yeah. For the legs, you can kick that far forward. Kick that far out. There's no reason why that should, especially for a figure so big, they can really work on the ball joint in their figures. There's no reason why a figure shouldn't be able to kick out all the way. I don't think this is a character that necessarily needs to kick out all the way, but I do think, if you can have that, why not give that, And he doesn't have a drop-down hip, luckily, because drop-down hips are just kind of, they can be annoying. And then he has an upper thigh swivel. You have a double-jointed knee. And the knees, luckily, do look a lot better than the elbows, so if that's an issue that you have, it does look better. It's still not the best looking, but it does look a lot better. And then you have a boot swivel, and then the hinge can hinge that far back, hinge that far forward, forward-facing clamp for rocker, and then you actually do have the toe joint, which toe joints are something that a lot of people, especially Marvel Legends collectors, lose their shit over, and I just think it's a bit of a scam. Maybe not a scam, but it's like a sham in my opinion. It doesn't do anything aside from make it harder to stand a figure, honestly. When they're loose, they're really bad. When they're good, they're good. I will give you that. When they're good, they're good. But when they're bad, they're bad. And a lot of my Mayfexes get loose really fast, and I have less confidence in the Hasbro teams, their way of doing this. So that's sad, but it's not the biggest deal in the world. My Marvel Legends Spider-Man and my Daredevil haven't gone very loose, so that's good, at least. So for accessories, we're going to get into that now. You get a couple of hands, you get a couple fists, and this is what I mean by I wish he had more accessories. Those thumbs look pretty cool, though. I wish that, in that poster that it shows on the back, let me actually just, this is concept art from the game. This is what they used originally. Okay, well, this isn't even the one that I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the 19 inches of Venom meme, the statue where he's grabbing Miles. It's the opposite hand that he's grabbing Miles with. It's this hand. So I wish he came with 2 of these hands and 2 of these hands for both sides, because for the price, I think he definitely could have used an extra set of hands. 2 extra sets of hands, honestly. Because I also wish he came with really flat hands so you could get him wall crawling and doing the superhero pose and stuff. So that is definitely an issue. So, and this is a great figure, don't get me wrong. He just could really use a couple of more things, in my opinion, that would really help this figure do better, in my opinion. So, and then he also comes with this really cool hand. This is technically a hand, so he does come with another hand. It's the tendril hand, and you can pull that off and put it on. I'm just going to put it on behind the camera because it's hard to do that type of stuff on camera, and it looks pretty cool on the figure. You definitely are going to be able to get cool poses out of this guy with this wrapping around, Spider-Man or whatever. And then for the last accessory, you get this head, which it comes with this insert. I just put it in because it'll probably just stay in there, honestly. It's got like the spit insert. And this head looks awesome. I really do like this head. And this will probably be the head I use. So I'm going to put that on there. And we're going to look at what that looks like on the actual figure. We'll put him back so you can actually see, because the camera is very far forward. Let's get him a little bit more spread apart. That should, oh my god, he is so hard to stand. Okay, I'm gonna take the hand off now since we've seen it on there, so he can be a little bit easier to stand, hopefully. We're gonna do this. And then, yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a little hard to see him on camera. There we go. You might see a little bit of my support for the camera, but that'll be fine. This figure, I will say, this more represents what I hope that we can get from the line. This is only my technically second Gamerverse figure. So I'm excited to get more Gamerverse figures, especially from Spider-Man, because I really do like the designs in the game. I'm hoping we get a Kraven, because I really liked that version of Kraven. I thought they really did do a very good job with Kraven in the game. Kraven's Last Hunt is one of the best storylines in comic books, at least in Spider-Man comic books for me. And I liked some of how they adapted that in the game. So I hope we can get that version of Kraven. Plus, it's the actor that played Boozer in Days Gone, so like that I definitely want that figure. And then I really want the monstrous, crazy looking lizard from the game. I thought that lizard design was so cool. And then I would really like the Sinister Six from the first game. Honestly, Rhino would be the one I'd want the most. Rhino, and then probably Scorpion from the first game. Those are probably the two I want the most, because I like their designs the most, just purely from a design standpoint. But yeah, this guy is awesome, and I'm excited to play with him more later. And yeah, so for size comparisons, we're gonna get into it. This is the Titanium Man from Marvel Select, and then this is the Marvel Legends Hulk. And this is basically the size of the Marvel Legends Maximum Hulk that they have. And you can see he's smaller than this guy. And they're about the same. They're going to be about the same price. I think the Marvel Legends Maximum Hulk is, what, $80? Which is still a better value than the Blob, Marvel Legends Blob. But I still think it's very overpriced. And if you're wondering why I don't have the Maximum Spider-Man yet, Big Bad Toy Store just hasn't shipped him out to me. I haven't gotten a payment for him. Same with the ROM from the comic book wave. So I don't know. And then we're gonna get into some black suit stuff. This is the TV show, the Spider-Man animated series, Black Suit Spidey. And then this is the the Secret Wars Spider-Man. And this is my favorite Spider-Man, Black Suit Spider-Man, that I have, because I like the body, and I just think he's a really good figure. We're just going to put him there, because I also have another one. This is the Mafex Black Suit Spider-Man, and I had him in a pose where he was transforming into it. So, forgive some of the flesh, skin tone stuff and all that. But, yeah. And I will say that this figure is still a very good figure, especially for Mafex. I have issues with Mafex, but this Mafex is really fun to play with. And then I do have a couple more black suits. Number one, we have just this is the Marvel Select Venom, and this guy comes up to about that tongue on this Venom, so he's definitely small compared to this guy. This is the Julia Carpenter from the West Coast Avengers 3-pack or 6-pack, 5-pack. And then this is the Agent Venom from Marvel Legends. And I think they all look pretty good together. I was going to pull out the Amazing Yamaguchi Agent Venom to compare, but I think I'll just do that in the Amazing Yamaguchi video. And then next, I don't have any, like I said, I don't have any Gamerverse Spider-Man figures, but there's a pretty good Miles that I have. This is the Amazing Yamaguchi Peter, and the suit is in the game, so if you wanted to use it as a PS4 Peter, you can do that. And then the only other Gamerverse figure I have is this Kamala Khan, and I just have her because she works as a 616 Kamala Khan. So that's what they all look like next to Venom. And then what else? Oh yeah, I have Carnage. Sadly, Carnage could not make an appearance in the game. Cletus Cassidy was in the game, and I do think that there would have been a Carnage DLC, but Insomniac suffered a lot of issues, let's just say. And yeah, so we won't get into that, but I do wish we could have seen some Carnage. I will say that. And then here's this is the War Journal 2-pack Punisher with a bunch of bits and bobs put on him from Marvel Legends. And yeah, these are all looking pretty good together. Okay, so yeah, this figure's pretty dope, and I'm glad to have him in the collection. And I do think you should pick him up if you want him. If you don't want him, don't pick him up, but I do still think he's a really good figure, and honestly, I'm glad I picked him up. I will do this real quick. I wanted to see if the Marvel Select head. Nah, the Marvel Select heads do not fit on this body, sadly. So I need to find a better head. I feel like the heads are nice and everything, but for me, I just want a little bit more neck, and I feel like this head looks up a lot too much. So if anyone knows any good heads I could get for this guy, let me know. So there he is. There's the Marvel Legends Gamerverse Tony Todd Venom. He's very great, and I'm glad to have him. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.